You've just caught me playing the bass guitar, getting a bit of practice in. Got a lesson in about 3.5 hours with a local music school, Rhythm Foundry. Just say a quick disclaimer: any bass playing you see today, do not judge it on their teachings, because they're a great school and got great teachers. But fortunately, the old brain department doesn't retain the information properly, and it's nothing to do with them. But been a big fan of the bass guitar, and try and remember some of the previous videos that we've done. Apart from a few intermittent appearances here and there, don't think I've mentioned it that much. So yeah, I'm going to talk about one of my main passions today is music, more specifically the bass guitar. Some of my favourite songs, players, and different techniques I've picked up along the way. Probably, and here we go again, and say this like it's a classic story. But one of the very first albums I ever owned was Jeff Love, Star Wars and Other Space Themes. Found out years after the fact that one of my favourite bass players, who I actually saw live in concert, Oadby Flowers, played on that record. And I think it was during their version of the theme from UFO. This is a rough approximation of it. It did this great bass like this. And that was one of the very first times when I thought, what is that instrument? What kind of sound is that? And I really think that was like the awakening part of getting into the bass. And another music video that I saw way after the fact, and again another great bass player, was Jeff Pilson from Dokken. The number of times I've watched Dokken stuff, and especially that Dream Warriors music video, that shot of Jeff Pilson and Don Dokken walking along the corridor and Jeff playing his bass is absolutely awesome. Right, now we're going to go into my top 5 favourite bass players. This list is subject to change at any moment if I suddenly think of another random bass player that I should have thought of, but this top 5 is a pretty good approximation of what I think is a good bass player. And here's number 5. Let's see if you can guess from this terrible version of one of his songs. And if you can guess by that, it's John Deacon. So I'm normally a fan of your fancy American bass players with the nice long permed hair and tight leather trousers. But John Deacon keeps rising up in my estimation over the years. His bass line for Invisible Man is incredible, and you know, just that he's such a nice guy, and you know, just seems really down to earth, and disappeared off the face of the earth when he left Queen. And number 4 on the list, can't actually play any of his songs, so it'll be you and he'll be pleased to find out about this. But his name is Rachel Bolan, and no, he is a man, but he's got a woman's name, and he's from Skid Row, and he's amazing, and his bass playing's awesome, and he used to have a cool chain that went from his nose to his ear, and he did a great version of Psychotherapy, which can be found on the Skid Row Donington EP. This is number 3. He was the 4th bass player in this particular band, and see if you can recognise him from this riff. That was a terrible version of one of his songs. It was Jason Newsted, if you didn't click in about that. Obviously with Metallica, and I was thinking about this last night when I was compiling this list, how great are Metallica when everybody remembers the main bass players: Cliff Burton, of course, Jason Newsted, and Rob, however you say his name. Terrible, can't say his last name, how wrong is that? But number 2 is Billy Sheehan, and I absolutely adore Billy Sheehan. And I kind of was talking about this about movies earlier on, fully enough. But when you know somebody or something is technically better than a lot of things, but you couldn't say he was your all-time favourite, even though technically he's really good. He's in hundreds of bands. Even right now he's in the Winery Dogs, He's touring with Mr. Big. He's always, it seems like he's working on some different side projects. He reunited with the David Lee Roth band. Anybody who's made it this far through this video would probably heard of Billy Sheehan. But my number one choice is, and this is sort of kind of controversial, but see if you can recognise him from this incredible rendition of one of his bass lines. And it is Alec John Such, bass player that played for Bon Jovi for the first 4 or 5 albums. Although it is open to debate, because I only found out this way after the fact, that he might not have played on any of the, he only played on like 25% of the records. It's maths problem for me. And he was replaced by Hugh MacDonald, who is currently still in the band. But Alec John Such was a revelation for me when I got brought Slippery When Wet on vinyl. I can't remember if it was for birthday or for Christmas. It might have been for Christmas, because I remember it being listening to it at about 4 o'clock at night, and it was dark, and I had like listening to it on my music centre in my childhood home, and just listening to the bass lines. And again, this is not a very cool thing to say, but remember Kenny G on this free tape I had that was free with my Ghetto Blaster. Can you say Ghetto Blaster nowadays? I think you can. Anyway, I was listening to this Kenny G tape, and on this tape, Kenny G said, if you listen to instrumental music, you form a picture in your mind of what that song's trying to tell you. And when I was listening to these Alec John Such bass lines, they were just sort of, were so mind-blowing to me. One of my big stumbling blocks and excuses to picking up a musical instrument was I was always worried I wouldn't be able to tune it, and other musicians would laugh at me, like they're doing watching this video, saying, oh, that poor guy's having a stroke while he's playing. But no, this is as good as it gets. But this is witchcraft. How do these tuners work? It's not connected in any way. You just clip it onto the headstock of the bass, and you can tune your guitar. Let's just check that I'm actually in tune. Standard tuning, E, A, D, G. E, A, D, G. There we go. Tuned up. I'm in chromatic mode at the moment. I'll turn that off to save battery, because incredibly cheap. Is your next free lesson, completely free of charge, is octaves. And this is one of the most easy things you can do on the bass, and I really feel like it just gives an interesting flavour to what you're playing. And it's one of those things, once you find out about this, it's so obvious, but octaves, no matter what note you're playing on the bass, they're always 2 frets across and 2 frets down. So if you play a C, and then you go, there's your octave for C. So it makes the part of the chord, but you can do that anywhere. So instead of just like going, you can, and I really feel like it just rounds that sound off. And there's your octave, so don't forget, 2 frets across, 2 frets down, you're good to go. This is something I found out at a lesson, one of the lessons last week, because we're doing a bass line. I can't do it now. What bass line was it? It was the Blossoms. What was the song called? Charlemagne. Doing the Blossoms, Charlemagne. Amazing song, by the way. Super cool music video. But as we were learning the bass line, and I said to my bass teacher, "Oh, that's interesting. What is it?" And again, apologies, John, if I've got this completely wrong. But he said it's the harmonic minor scale. I was like, "Oh, what's that?" Because I'm interested in this kind of stuff, as you can tell. And showed me, and then I learned it off him, and I was watching other videos, and he was saying, oh, it's got like an exotic feel, and it's almost like being in Arabia, but the harmonic scale is this. got that like, ooh, it's like being in Disney's Aladdin with Will Smith, isn't it? But I'll play it you again, and I'll put the information somewhere so you can actually figure this stuff out. There's your harmonic minor scale. And this one, this is really cool. This is a blues scale. And honestly, when I played this and I put a bit of a backing track on, and I can only play it in C at the moment because I'm lame. But this is a blues scale, and sometimes you can, if you put it with the right piece of music, it sounds quite cool. This is a blues scale. So this is your final lesson. If you take all these lessons and record them, you'll never get on the charts. The charts. Here we go, blues scale in C. I'll do that again, here we go. There's your blues scale. There's your lessons. A little bit of name that tune. Can you remember where you were 2009 when this song was the UK Christmas #1? Here we go. Name this song in 45 notes.
Ladies and gentlemen, name that tune!
Let's see if any fans of UK 80s pop music will remember this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, name that tune!
There you go. It's as good as it's going to get. And in 6 months from now, I'll be the new bass player in Aswad. Until then, keep it locked.
Thanks for watching The Legends of Cherry Hill. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing.